more. Sometime it all come together, baby. Sometime we all fall in love.
El gran musical entrevistó en exclusiva a John Islley, uno de los mejores amigos de Mark Knopfler y su indiscutible mano derecha en Dire Straits. John Islley, durante los últimos 15 años de existencia del grupo, siempre ha sido su gran punto de equilibrio, de estabilidad. Ahora John Islley cuenta el pasado, el presente y el futuro de Dire Straits con magnífica perspectiva.
And I had an apartment down there, and David was sharing the apartment with me. And I came back very early one morning, about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and walked into the lounge room and saw this figure lying on the floor in the lounge, asleep, right, with a guitar over his legs. And he'd basically fallen asleep on the floor while he was playing. And it was a very hard floor, it wasn't a soft floor, and his head was sort of like this, you know, cranked back, and there was an ashtray full of cigarette butts and coffee all over the place and everything like that. And I sort of walked in and started making myself some tea, and he woke up, and I said, you must be Mark. And he said, yes, I am. Are you John? He said, hi. And just started chatting. And that's the first time I met him. Came from the drummers, a friend of our drummer, Pick, who, we were looking for a name for the band, and he went back home one night, and I think it was another musician who was staying in the house with him. They were talking late into the night, and Pick said, we're trying to find a name for this band. And he turned to Pick and he said, well, he said, you've been in Dire Straits all your life, trying to be a musician. Why don't you call it Dire Straits? Well, that was it. That's where it came from. The first couple of years, 3 years, were very, very hard, because we started it in a time when punk music was emerging.
A new wave, no?
New wave music. So they didn't really want to know about classic rock and roll bands. So it was very difficult to get any work. But we just kept on going, and a few people in London who believed in us, the chap who ran the Rock Garden and the Hope and Anchor, a lot of the pub circuit still wanted to have a more, if you like, traditional musical approach rather than the punk or any revolutionary stuff coming in. So we used to get a little bit of work, but not a lot. But it was pretty poor. It's a big thing in your life. It's a very big thing. It's taken up 15 years of my life, 16 years of my life, which is a lot. So it's a lot of energy gone into it. A lot of time has been spent doing things. You spend a lot of time away from home, from your family, from your friends. I know it's a cliche, but there's quite a high price to pay for doing this kind of work. I think that there are certain times in your career when you think that enough is enough. Have we done enough of this? You know, is this enough? You never know. And then, of course, you embark on, I mean, the Brothers in Arms thing, I thought that wasn't going to, you know, that was quite a difficult thing to get together. And this has been actually a lot easier. Once the decision was made to do it, to do the On Every Street thing, then it was much easier to do it, and it's actually been a lot smoother than I thought it was going to be. I don't know. I would like to think that if we want to, we can come back to it. But there's no pressure on us to do that. It's a question of whether it feels right to do it. I think that there'll certainly be a big break, you know, and maybe this will be the last record we make. I don't know, but who knows? I don't think it's possible to foresee that sort of thing. After the Brothers in Arms tour and the Brothers in Arms record, you know, it sold very well. The tour was very successful. It was like, is that enough? And then you do something like On Every Street, which is more reflective and more complex. Yeah. Maybe there's a possibility of slipping back into a much more simple framework. Go back to a 4-piece, 5-piece band again. Something that sounds very simple on a record, taking quite a long time to get to that simplicity.
Is anybody home? Call Nelly. You all alone. Please build it. to the phone. Called LA from New Orleans.